Hey everyone, welcome back to Eye Opener Society. Welcome back to our little place here on the internet. Welcome back to our forming and developing church. Yes, we are still serious about that. Lizzie and I, we've been taking much time to slow things down a little bit because the whole legal process has to happen. But in the meantime, we still want to start putting some things forward for everybody. And so as that changes, we will get that out to you. First off, I want to give a big shout out to my dear friends Carly and Carla from AppalachianRootworks.com. Don't forget to check them out because they are amazing. I just got an order from them and it came so quick and it's packaged well and their products are fantastic and they're a full service metaphysical shop. Stop by. They have so much to offer along with a podcast called Without a Candle. Check them out wherever you get your favorite podcast from. And so, with that, this season is changing. This is going to be the last episode of this season, and all that means is now it's season two, since I started doing season instead of episodic shows. So it means nothing, but what does mean something is how we feel once we're in that comfortable zone. And I've been super excited working with Lizzie. I've been super excited about the church. And I've been getting so worked up and I'm so excited to talk and have all these episodes. So I wanted to see how everybody else really is. And it's difficult when, we can't communicate two ways, but I do have Lizzie here with me who can help me out with that. So, Lizzie, I have been so excited about moving forward. I know we've had a lot to discuss or a lot of stuff that's been on our minds, but like I said, we're putting the brakes on just to calm ourselves down because we are super excited. We don't want to trip over ourselves. But you were bringing up a few things, as far as the change of season, the weather, and connections, and you even threw in sex in there. And I heard that loud and clear because we're going to have soon an episode that's going to be dedicated to sex because as a church, we are going to be completely open minded, unlike all other churches. So, saying that, where do you want to start?
Well, with that one, I would just say, because in reference to what I was talking about, I was talking about how sex, creativity, and healing energy, when you get very down to the root core tone of it, they're all the same thing. And a lot of the times, people are really good at one aspect or another. Like they're pretty open in expressing themselves creatively. They have more of like healing modalities, whether that's, something like an energy work or even just being like a good listener, things like that. And I find that if you can kind of balance out all of them in your expression, it gives you a more wholesome experience.
And combining all of this, it's what I'm kind of feeling right now is a whole combination of all of this stuff and the feeling and all with that. And I think us as the collective, and especially you and I, we're trying to get all of that to get it into a way to broadcast to people. And because we're still working on that as far as a platform, but we want to work something out so that everybody gets to experience that and we get to experience it from them, right?
Yeah, because like the whole idea is we're supposed to be exploring our own authentic creative expression. Life is all about connecting with each other, creating, growing. It really is more about art, and art is everything from the food you make to the paintings to like us doing this podcast. This is kind of like an art. And that's what I want to do at the church is create a space because everywhere that I look and I've been telling you about the deep dives I've been going on the other churches that are available to the spiritual community and not talking bad about anybody because I've seen some really beautiful ones, but everybody has a specific truth in mind, a specific idea, a specific place you're supposed to take your soul. And I feel like everybody already knows that. Even if they don't like logically know it, they already know what the next steps are supposed to be for them. I think there's just supposed to be a space where people can come and be like, this is what I'm exploring right now. And then someone else can be like, oh, that's so cool. I want to try that. And then someone else can be like, oh, that's amazing. I also do this one. You know what I mean? And then everybody can just share their perspective, they can share their art, and everybody can grow more into themselves through each other. And I think that that's really what a church is supposed to be.
And we are on the same page with that because when I first started talking to you about it and the way you see my vision and the way you make it all come together, I like that because it's comforting knowing that you and I are on the same page, and because of that, we can move forward with that. And that's why I'm excited for it because one, I get to leave my day job. Two, I get to be part of this amazing church that we're going to establish. And I know some people, because I'm talking to some people right now that are saying, isn't that too limiting? And I said, well, yes, it would be if we were designing a church in its true form where we're practicing only one religion. We're eliminating the religion part and we're sticking in just spirituality. And that spirituality is going to open up into so many different things because I don't care what we talk about. Whether it be UFOs, Bigfoot, our higher selves, meditation, sex, it's a place where everybody can come to. And we can really discuss things that are meaningful to each other's lives. And with that too, because it's so funny, I sometimes when I'm on YouTube and I got, my little daily things I put out there, I noticed this, and I'm going to bring this up to you because I haven't talked to you about this one. I got another comment, and YouTube is just a weird place to begin with. I think it's just a very unique set of people, but there's a lot of gatekeeping going on there. I just basically did a little short 19-second or 20, 30-second thing, just basically where I went, hey, I hope everybody has a great day. Function as a human being and have a great day. And then someone commented, they're like, this is how tyranny starts, when you put that. Now, the funny thing, like, I'm the same way. Listen, when it comes to conspiracy theories and all, I'm with you on all of them. And I could sit in time, but you know what? There's a time and a space for all of them. you know, you don't have to have that conspiracy mindset all the time. I think if you sit back and listen and just take in what's coming. So if somebody's telling me to have a great day, that's wonderful. Have a great day. Or maybe I want to have a miserable day. So I will just move on away from that post or that, little short. But I wouldn't go sticking all of my conspiracy theories. I want to go sitting there saying how this is how tyranny starts. What's going on? What do you think? I love to hear your opinion on that.
You know, honestly, immediately I thought it's so funny because here you are starting a church of where basically your religion is your own personal truth. And in your comments of your videos about this, you're getting people trying to demand their truth to you. Because this isn't the first one that we've talked about on here. And and you've gotten more just recently than what we've discussed on here. And the general theme of it all is people throwing their truth at you, which is the whole point of what we want, is to create a space where people can be like, this is what I think. Oh, very cool. And so it's really funny that that's what you're getting right now.
I'm opening up the doors to everything at this point. And you're right. Yes, I do want to hear about this stuff. I do want to hear about what's on people's minds.
They don't have to throw it at you. There's a
Right.
difference. There's a difference. And that's what I think that as a collective we're still learning how to do. And so in theory, we probably still really don't know how to do that either the way that we're wanting to. But I think that's the point, is that we're learning how to do it. And anybody who wants to learn with us can come join the journey with us.
Yes, and that's the most exciting part is having people join in on this journey, and we're all going to guide each other. It's not just going to be you and I guiding others. They're going to guide us too as well, and I'm looking forward to that because I have a very open mind to, many, many different things, thoughts, and ideas, whether I believe them or if it's just something that somebody else is telling me, I will listen to the story. But yeah, there's a time and a place for everything. And like I said, Because me, I usually keep my conspiracy theories. There's a couple of them that I'm very adamant about, and I will push them, if I need to, but I don't force that down anybody's throat. And
Right.
that's not how I want the church to be either. I don't want to force things down people's throats. I don't want to say, this is it, this is the end of the story, finished. I want to give you the idea. I want your feedback, and then I want to hear from you what you think. That's what I'm going for on my end, alongside of meditation, outdoors, healing. Those are the things. Those are my modalities. That's what I really like. And I know you got a ton of modalities.
No, mine's just playing all the time. Right now, I'm exploring the collective tone, the personal cosmic tone, and then your starter ego tone. And I think, in theory, this is where all of your chakras and everything evolves from, is from these little three tones. And I can't prove it yet, but I'm gonna start practicing on people, and then I can.
You can always start on me because I know you started talking about that, and I had a really good takeaway from that with, if your tone is here and all. I won't go into it. I'll save that all for you to explain. But from what I heard from you, it's just amazing stuff. And I know you have stuff written, and I know you want to rewrite a lot of stuff. And this is why I want to give you some time. This way we can start collaborating more on this. And the other thing, we've been collaborating on meditations too, where you sat with me, where I done a meditation on you, and then you gave me your meditation in words, and I was able to read it just like if it was coming from me, because it almost felt like it was. And then we have some more ideas, or at least you have some ideas on how we can expand that.
Yes, because I swear you're gonna be the first person to actually try out my new system here. I'm just trying to fix it up just a little bit because I have to circle it, because that's just my style. But I'm thinking, really truthfully, the best way to do it is maybe through some not vague meditations, but more vague meditations. In all my previous modalities, it was very much read the energy, find the imbalance, find the root wound, give them the energy that they need, empowerment, whatever, bring them back to the center, like, very much so like that. But that goes off of the idea that I know what's imbalanced in them. That goes off of the idea that I know in what order they're supposed to fix these imbalances. Because I've also learned that just because you can find an imbalance and you can eliminate it does not mean that actually helps you, because sometimes it's holding different things together that you're not ready to let go of. And if you start breaking all these things, that causes all those tower moments, which is fine. It moves you to coherence, but maybe you don't want to have all those tower moments. And so my idea is that with this way, if you could have some language and some visualizations, you can go through and you can learn how to do these visualizations on your own and build language of your own with your own inner universe. And you can take the little pieces that we give you and find little pieces other places. You're going to come up with your own cool pieces and then give it back to us. And we're all going to circle like this. Everybody wants this new world and everybody's fighting about it. And I think it's because nobody can actually conceptualize what that is yet. We're still figuring it out. And I think this is how we do it, is just by sharing our different ideas as to what works with us.
Right, exactly. Figuring things out together. It's a strange concept to some people. Everybody really feels they have the ultimate answers. In the end, you probably do. You have the right answers for yourself. But to get those ideas forward in this 3D world, you have to go through other people. And in order to, feel comfortable within yourself and to be able to speak it or act it, that's the big difference, I think. I think people have to, learn how to work their own energies. I think these are things that are teachable, whether you teach it, whether I teach it, or somebody has a different idea of it. But yeah, we all have our ideas, our concepts, and if we're comfortable with them, if we set them in motion and set them forward, I think as a collective, that helps out so much more.
Yeah, it truly does. Like, I kind of forgot to acknowledge when we were talking about how we've been working on the meditations together. Like, meditations is something that I mean, I do it very differently than you, but more or less, I've been walking people through these for a number of years. But when we started working together, because I was telling you my authentic style, you were telling me your authentic style, we shared it. I actually, when I wrote that for you, I could feel it. I had some of your energy in there. Like, I got better at writing meditation because it was something we collaborated on. If I continued to practice, yes, I would grow and evolve and get better at it myself. But the more I bring other people in on my energy work, the deeper and more enriching it gets every single time. And it's kind of crazy how like quickly it can change.
And that's what I really enjoy about working with whether it be you or anybody else. You start to pick up on those energies from the other person. And if they're good and you're vibing, the amazing thing with that is great things do become of it because you start to evolve, you start to learn yourself. And like I said, well, like you just said, how you picked up on some of my energies and started writing it. I can pick up your energies now and go into a meditation based on your thoughts. And this is what we can actually work with. We can actually help people do the same thing, where it's going to expand your mind, expand your modalities, expand your beliefs, expand what it is that makes you you. And that's the most incredible thing with what we are trying to set up. It's everything's going to be focused on the individual, and what they're trying to express or how they feel or what they want to get forward. It's a big concept and we could keep talking about it, but like I said, step by step, we'll get this all in place and people start to understand it a little bit more because, like I said, we're cutting the religion part out of it. We're not praying to any gods or anything like that. You bring your own gods, whoever it is or whatever it is that you worship.
Yeah, that's part of why we're thinking Thursday too. We were talking about that because then if somebody does still go to a church on Sunday, like this doesn't disrupt it. That's between them and their God. This is supposed to add to whatever you're already doing, not take away from anything.
Exactly. And that's the great feel for it because I think people get so limited when it comes to religion. They're forced into this box of thinking and they never see outside. I think because I don't want to say that, you have to get rid of your religion. You could be whatever religion you want, but spiritual wise, outside that box, that's only going to help you with your religion because now you put more of yourself into that. And that's not ego. That is not, what it is self empowerment. You get a chance now to be really who you are and apply it in all aspects of life, not just your religion. But you have to think outside that box and you have to start focusing on that center, which really is you. And at least that's my belief, and that's what I'm going to be teaching.
All right, I thought I just remembered a TikTok video I watched earlier, but I didn't know if it was true or not. But maybe I kind of want to share it now. So it was talking about they were trying to find if there was a genetic reason why some people have like spiritual abilities, and they assumed that they would find something in the DNA. And when they went and they studied different people who either had psychic abilities or came from families who had people with psychic abilities, and then other people who had no known connection with that. And what they found was 60% or more of the population actually had a gene that did it. And it was actually, let me see if I can remember it. They were actually shocked to find that it seemed like it was a deactivated gene that caused 40% of the people to not naturally have the ability. And the thing about genes is that if it's there and it's deactivated throughout life, it can become activated. This is why people get different genetic disorders at different times in their lives because different things can trigger it. And so, in theory, everybody has the ability, like literally genetically, the ability to have a psychic um, awakening, I guess. But when they traced it back, and that 40%, they actually theorize it is because of the original nature of where religion came from, because a lot of it was all about power and control. And so that time period when the genes changed, it was the same time period where people being were being persecuted for their truth. All the witches were being burned. And if you think about it, if you have a psychic gift and people find out, and that's going to lead to your torture and death. And not only that, like they would kill your whole bloodline sometimes, you know what I mean? And so like that legitimately like changed 40% of our genetics by controlling people's truth.
See, that's really interesting. And that's the kind of exciting stuff that I like to, get into because I do believe myself, every single one of us has some sort of ability, whether it be psychic abilities, whether it just be the ESP, remote viewing, all these things. We have that capacity. Yes, what was turned off, what was scared out of us, you know, and to put the genetics into it puts a little bit of a modern scientific twist on it too. So that I love to learn about stuff like that because I think that's all going to blend into all of the things we're going to be talking about and all the things we're going to teach. And I would like people to focus and try and figure out what their abilities are and how to focus and to bring them back out. And I've been doing that a lot myself, trying to figure out what it is I have. And it's amazing when you start picking up little things, you're like, oh, I actually do have that ability. Wow, this is amazing. And I would like that for everybody. I really would. So just another thought that we can do, as things progress.
Yeah, I never heard that 40% of people in theory have that deactivated gene, but I've always had this strong belief that we all have basically all the abilities. It's just who taps into what in what order and at what length, you know what I mean? And I want to just add to what I said. I've seen many, many people psychically develop very strongly inside a church as well. And so when I say these things about the church, I'm talking about specifically the structure that was built around control and not the beautiful things people do find in it, just for everybody's awareness on that one.
Yeah, and I could add to a little bit to that. I've had an experience in church. I spoke about it on a very earlier podcast back with my stepdaughter Hannah, where I went blind in church. Literally went blind during a Sunday high mass, where my vision, it was literally like black ooze in my field of vision until I completely lost. And I was young, very young. And I started freaking out in church, and my mother pulled me out. The second we got outside of church, my vision came right back. Chalk it up to whatever it is,
Too
you
much
want. But
energy, maybe?
yeah, you just, the thing is, and you see, I still feel the comfort of the Catholic Church too. The stone walls, the Gothic styles, the stained glass, the candles. I can relate to all of that stuff. I just can't relate anymore to the religion itself, and its dogmas and all. But if people do, I appreciate it because I was raised and bought through all that stuff sometimes forcefully. And because of that, it turned me off and I just wanted to explore the spiritual side of things. But we find some comforts in churches sometimes. And I know I do. But then we also sometimes use a church where we figure things out about ourselves with them as well.
Because it's just adding to your perspective. That one's just a long-standing perspective that a lot of people held. That's going to be helpful to a lot of people, maybe for a lifetime, maybe for just a phase. I think whatever practice, whatever religion you feel called to look into, explore, try out, like even if it's not quote the answer for you, it'll likely get you closer, because that's the thing is I've seen so much beauty in every religion that I've explored. They're all so beautiful. Truth is so perspective that I just really hope everybody can broaden that perspective a little bit. I just think everybody would be a whole lot freaking nicer to each other.
You're absolutely right about that. Yeah. Take your beliefs, believe in them, have your strong beliefs in them. But yeah, outwardly, though, expand things. There's nothing wrong about learning about other things. Again, as long as it's not being forced, just expand things. So this way we can be happier as a human race. That's the ultimate goal. And whether we achieve peace on earth because of you and I doing stuff, but we might not do it in that full scale. We're just chipping away at those little stones. We're doing our part. And then
Yep, it's
everybody
just
else could do their part.
yep, it's just everybody doing whatever it is that they want, and just somehow it'll just come together to be something beautiful.
Absolutely. And this audience is beautiful. We thank you. I don't know if you want to add anything else there, Lizzie.
I guess if you're intrigued by what we were talking about today, my first meditation, I'm gonna write it here very shortly for you, Gary. It's gonna be for the collective tone. I think that one's the best one to start with because that's what I started with, and I immediately saw differences. So I'm gonna write that soon. So if anybody is interested, that'd probably be the first one for our quote church series.
Gotcha. Yeah, and that church series is probably going to be on Thursday nights. I think we're reserving the time slot for sermons, where you and I are going to be discussing a lot more of this in a lot more detail and in a way that most people are going to understand it. So be looking forward to that. I'm definitely looking forward to that. I'm looking forward to your meditation writings and getting them out there to everybody. So with that, everybody, I thank you so much for joining us. Don't forget to check out those Wednesday night guided meditation series, and then look forward to some more actual speeches, sermons, whatever you want to call them. But it's going to be more church related stuff from Lizzie and I on Thursday nights. We'll let you know when those start happening. But in the meantime, everybody, I want everybody to be in peace. I want everybody to be happy, and I want everyone to be healthy. Enjoy your life because it matters so much. Thank you for tuning in. Lizzie and I will see you soon.